Hi, everybody. Welcome back to reading. I hope that you had a good weekend and you're ready to start the week. Today, I'm going to teach you that readers retell to retain the story. I want to tell you guys a little bit about a story that happened to me before I get started. And what this was I started a brand new book. It's a chapter book, and I started it a few weeks ago, and I read like 50 pages of it. And normally, I talk to my mom and I tell her what's happening with the characters in that adventure on the book, and I didn't. And I went to go pick up my book this time, and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't remember anything about what I was reading because I didn't talk about it. So then I was like, oh no, I hope that my first graders don't forget the stuff that they're reading about. So don't forget what you're reading about. And the way that you're not going to forget is by today, I want to teach you that the best way to remember a book is to tell someone else about it. So you're going to need some tools today. You're going to need a book to read. You're also going to maybe need some sticky notes. And if you don't have a book and you don't have sticky notes or paper as a bookmark, I will show you how to do this on Raz Kids later. But go ahead and pause this and grab the things that you need. You can use paper, like I've got small pieces of paper, because I don't have any sticky notes in my house right now. And I've got a book. So go ahead and pause this, go get those tools, come back. Again, if you don't have those things, just hang on because I will show you how to do this in Raz Kids. Okay, so we're back with our things that we need. And when you retell the important parts, you're going to mark it with something like a bookmark or a sticky note because it's kind of like when you go on an adventure, like on a field trip or a vacation, a lot of times people come back and they tell their friends all about their adventure that they were on. And a lot of times using a photograph is something that they might use as a way to help them to remember. It's kind of like looking at the picture that you took. You're like, oh, yeah, I remember this part was important to me. So I'm going to tell about it. Well, when we read books, we are also going on adventures, but we usually don't take pictures of them. So we're going to use these today as a way to remember, kind of like a photograph. I'll get my book out. I'm going to go ahead and make me really big because we don't need this screen. We're going to watch how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to retell the important parts to mark pages that I need to remember that I think are important. All right, so Iris and Walter. All right, at the beginning of the story, um, the teacher says that they're going on a field trip to the aquarium. I think this is pretty important. So I'm going to put a piece of paper in there, like a bookmark, because I want to remember that the story got started by saying that they were going on a field trip. They were just talking about it here. Then they had dinner, and she told her parents, which doesn't seem like that much that different or important to me. Oh, yeah. Then they were going on the bus ride. They were chatting about expectations, but I think it's pretty important that they got on the bus and they headed to the aquarium. So, because the setting changed, where they were changed from being at school to at the aquarium. So it's pretty important to remember that part. Then they looked at the fish. I could probably mark that part because it was important to know what the characters were doing. Still looking at the fish. Oh, yeah. This is where they realized that it wasn't Walter's hand that they took, it was a different little boy. That's super important to the story. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that page too. So now that's as far as we've read, but I can tell a partner, like my stuffy or a pet, I can go through and tell my partner about the important parts because the bookmark helps me to remember that that page is important. So watch me do this. First, they found out that they were going on a field trip to the aquarium. Then they got on the bus on the day of the field trip and they rode to the aquarium to start seeing. Oh, yeah, there's paper here. So I know that it's important that they were looking at the fish at the aquarium. I'm flipping to the page that's got the paper on it. Oh, yeah. This paper reminds me that in the middle of the story, they realized they had the wrong kid. So now we know how we can use paper to track the important parts or sticky notes if you have them. But you only want to have about 5 sticky notes. And the reason why is because we want to just focus on what's really truly important. So don't waste them all at the beginning by telling all those small details at the beginning. We want to spread out the important parts as they happen throughout the story. Well, wait a second, Misty. What if I am reading on reading A to Z for as kids? I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, the first thing that you're going to do is go to Read Raz Kids and choose a book to read. If it's a story that you've never read before, you might want to listen to it first so that you hear all those tricky words before you try and read it. Next, you're going to click on the book icon to read the story yourself on your own time. And that's highlighted in yellow. When you're on a page that you think is important and you want to bookmark, you're going to choose the drawing tools. This is the beginning of a story about the lion and the mouse. And it's really important that the story started off by lion just sleeping. The beginning is usually pretty important. So I'm going to click on that drawing tool. Then I'm going to click on the stamp tool. And after that, I'm going to use it to bookmark the page with a sticker that shows me that part is important. Now I'm going to share my screen with you and you're going to watch me try and do this just so that you see it twice.